Hello everyone, my name is LaShawn and welcome back to my channel, The Yoga of My Life. And today I want to talk to you about what it's like having a 1 to 3 month old baby in Japan. So let's get started. So like I said in the beginning, this video is focused on 1 to 3 month old babies in Japan. If you haven't seen my previous video already, I suggest you check that out. That covers just month 0 when it talks about what it's like, being at the hospital and bringing the baby home for the first time. I'll leave a link to that, like in one of the info cards above. And for this video, just keep in mind it's impossible for me to cover everything. And depending on where you live in Japan, your experience might be different. Different wards and prefectures offer different programs and services for new parents. So some of the services that are offered here where I live might not be offered where you live, and vice versa. There are some programs that your area might have that I'm totally unaware of. So I'll talk about where to look, for more information. So hopefully that'll help you research what kind of programs and services and events there are in your area. Okay? All right, so let's jump right in. So one of the first things I want to go over, this is my Maternal and Child Health Handbook. And basically, this is a book you receive, and sorry, I'm covering up some private information, but this is the book you receive from your ward office when you first go to register your pregnancy. I'm sorry, baby. So basically, I have to be a little bit quiet because she's trying to sleep. You use this book and take it with you to all of your hospital and clinic visits from the beginning of your pregnancy all the way up until around when your child turns 3 years old. And all of the information is recorded in here. So one of the things that's covered in this Maternal and Child Health Care Handbook is the first month examination. And you can see here, we had our daughters done on October 23rd. So she was 26 days old, so just shy of 1 month, but basically around the 1 month age is when you want to get it done. And it just records like the weight of the baby, the height, the circumference of the chest, circumference of the head, their diet. The doctor will want to know like how well the baby's eating, how much the baby's eating, and also the feeding method, like if the baby's breastfed, mixed fed, or only formula fed. So mixed fed means breast milk and formula. It also takes notes of any shots that the baby gets. So during this time, I think she didn't get any vaccinations, but she did get like a, I guess it's vitamin K, some kind of K shot in her foot. She also got that like right after she was born, so they have to go through a couple different doses of that. So each time you go for a checkup, they just fill out this information and update it. So first there's 1 month, then there is from 3 to 4 months. And actually, okay, I'm a terrible mother. I'm supposed to fill out this page. So there are some sections where you're supposed to fill out beforehand and take it with you to the doctor for the doctor to review. So I was supposed to fill out this information. It's questions like, when was your child able to hold up his or her head upright? I'm sorry, baby. Does your baby laugh or smile when you touch or hold him or her? Is there anything unusual in your baby's eye movement or expression? Does your baby try to look in the direction of your voice when you call him or her from a place out of the baby's sight? Do you take your baby out in the fresh air? Like for example, do you walk outside with your child on a nice day? That's something I need to do more of, but it's been so cold. Is there anyone you feel comfortable asking for advice about raising a child? Is there anything about raising a child that worries you or that you find particularly difficult? And it says use the space below to write down notes about your child's growth, any concerns about raising a child, any illnesses that require medical attention, and any other comments that you have. Before your hospital visits, like your checkups, you'll want to fill out this information, and it's in both English and Japanese, which is really helpful. So that way you don't have to worry about communicating these things to your doctor. You can just circle yes or no and then just hand it to them when it's time. So that was at 3 to 4 months, and then I can flip the page and it says right here from 6 to 7 months. So that way I know that's when she needs to go for her next health check. But so far she has gotten 2 of her vaccination shots, and she's getting another one in 2 days. Which, if you're a parent, like, you know, it's hard watching your child cry. Like, but I almost think it's more traumatic for the mother than it is for the baby. Like, I know it's going to be painful and I know it's going to cry, and I feel guilty the whole time I'm taking her there because she's so happy to like be outside, and she's like cooing and she's so cute and like smiling and giggling. And then I get her to the doctor's office, and you know, you have to like you know, strip the baby down to like remove the top of their clothing so that their arms are exposed, and then you have to hold the baby really tight so they can't move, and you just wait for it because they get the needle and it takes the baby a moment to actually realize what's going on. Like, they freeze and they tense up, and then they're like all you can do is just hold your baby like, I'm so sorry, I know it hurts, just hang on, it's going to be okay, please forgive me, baby. Like, you're doing a good and wonderful thing for your child, but they don't understand why it's hurting. But thankfully, you know, babies are tough. They'll get over it within like seconds. Like, as soon as it's over, within 30 seconds she stops crying. So I just need to suck it up, stop being such an emotional mother and just, you know, get the shots done and over with. Don't make a big deal about it. But yeah, so that keeps on going. Then there's like 9 to 10 months and up to 1 year. Also, there is a chart here for the dental record for the mom. So during your pregnancy and after your child is born, you're supposed to keep a dental record here. And there are free dental health checks while you're pregnant, and like immediately after your pregnancy you'll get a voucher that you can take with you to a dental office like in your area, that'll cover it. I got mine done after my baby was born, but I forgot to take this with me, so I need to take it when I go again soon. And it just covers like the condition of your teeth, if you have any cavities, gum inflammation, because periodontal disease can be dangerous when you're pregnant. This is a gum disease. I think it can cause premature delivery, so that's why Japan is really concerned about making sure women go and get their teeth taken care of while pregnant, which I think is really nice. It's good to know. And it says down here at the bottom, conditions such as cavities and gingivitis tend to become worse during pregnancy. It is a good idea to consult a dentist about gum disease since it can cause premature birth, etc. Please be sure to tell the dentist that you are pregnant. But basically, as long as you have this book with you and you hand it to the dentist, they'll immediately know that's why you were there. You probably don't want to see this picture on the back. It's the color of poop. Like, the doctor will ask like which one of these pictures your baby's poop resembles. So yeah, be prepared for that as well. It's not a pretty page at all. Getting back to this, does your baby move his or her arms and legs or cry in response to a loud noise or sound? Is your baby's navel dry? And this is something I wasn't too sure about, and that was the baby's belly button. And some of the videos I saw, like from American mothers, they talk about how they don't bathe the baby. They don't give the baby like a bath. They might give the baby like a sponge bath until the belly button falls off. Whereas here in Japan, I was taught by the nurses to just go ahead, put her in a bathtub, completely, you know, submerge the navel area and just wash her really well. And then to pat her dry and to use a Q-tip to clean around the clamp that's attached to it, just to make sure you get any gunk out and to make sure it's dry. And that was it. They never said not to get it wet. In fact, they said go ahead and give the baby a bath every day, just with water and a really mild baby soap. Yeah. So is your baby's navel dry? It says call your physician if it is moist or sticky. Is there anyone you feel comfortable asking for advice about raising a child? Is there anything about raising a child that worries you or that you find particularly difficult? And then again, it says use the space below to write down notes about your child's growth, any concerns about raising a child, any illnesses that require medical attention, and any other comments that you have. Okay, so that was for the 1 month visit. Yeah, so this book is really fantastic. Like I said, it goes all the way from when your pregnancy first begins and until the baby turns, I believe, three years old. Let's see how old. Actually, this goes all the way up to 6 years old. I stand corrected. So you can see right here, health checkup for your child at 6 years old. So that's a long time you really need to hang on to this. So you probably want to get like a really nice, this isn't a nice one, but you probably want to get some kind of case to store this in, just, you know, so it doesn't get too damaged over time. Like a little bit is inevitable. And at the very back, this is the immunization record. I can't show it to you because it has, again, some private information, but so far she has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots. In the first 3 months of her life, she had 7 shots, and she's going for a few more on Tuesday. Usually they do like 2 or 3 shots at a time, so you don't have to go on 7 different locations. All right, so she's gonna join me for a little bit. I think she needs some mommy time. Yeah, so that covers the vaccinations. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but all of the health checks and vaccinations and everything else in Japan is free for babies all the way up through junior high school. So we didn't have to pay to get any of her shots done. She even caught a cold in December that was pretty bad, and it was really scary. She had a fever and she was coughing terribly. So we took her to the hospital and she got medicine, and that was free too. So that's one of the things that I love, you know, about raising my daughter here as opposed to in the US. Overall, it's cheaper to raise a baby in Japan, for sure. Just like the medical costs alone make up for it. So that's one of the pros about raising a baby here. There are clinics everywhere. So if you need to go to a clinic, there's usually one like, you know, right down the street from where you live that you can get into easily. And there's never like a super long wait. I think the longest we wait is like 15 minutes. And that's when we didn't have an appointment. It was like 15 to 20 minutes. But when you take your child for a vaccination, there are certain times you can go that are for vaccination only, and then other times are for when your child's sick, because they don't want the healthy kids and the unhealthy kids at the clinic at the same time, which makes a lot of sense, right? So you have to call the clinic just to check out which time you should go. If it's for a vaccination, it might only be like from the beginning of the morning until, you know, noon, like lunchtime. And then after lunchtime, it might be for all of the sick children. So keep that in mind. As for the smaller health checks, they're not so much health checks as they're like growth checks. And those are done by volunteers. Sometimes it's just like a bunch of little obachans. So they're usually held at like a local community center on specific dates. And you take your child there, and what they do is they just measure your child's height and their weight, and they'll record it in this book for you, and that's it. They don't check for anything else. There's usually not a doctor present either. It's really just volunteers, which was kind of surprising to me. The first time we went, I saw these old ladies, and you know, they were looking at my daughter, because my daughter does look a little bit different, and they're like, oh, she's so cute. And I was like, oh, thank you. And they're like, well, but why is your husband holding her instead of you? I was like, huh? And sorry, it just got dark in here all of a sudden. And this one little lady was like, you should be holding your baby instead of your husband. Like, she said this to me in Japanese. I'm like, oh, no, that's okay, but thank you. I was really kind of shocked, like, excuse me. Like, what gives you the right to say that to me? And it's just because, you know, older people still hold on to like really rigid conservative roles here, and my husband and I do not fit those roles at all, which they'll just have to get used to. Like, I know I wasn't rude to her, but I'm just like, no, that's okay. And even my husband was like, no, I prefer to hold my daughter. Like, he was on paternity leave for a reason. He wanted to be there to spend time with her. And one of the things my husband looked forward to the most before she was born was he always wanted to like carry a baby around, and those strap-on carriers. Like, he was so excited about that. So to have this old lady tell us that he shouldn't be doing that, it was a little bit offensive. But we're just like, thanks, but no, bye. Yeah. But you probably won't have any negative experiences when you go to your health checks with the volunteers. And even if you do, just kind of brush it off. Don't worry about what they say, because they're not doctors and their opinions really don't matter. But yeah, the major health checks, like the 1 month and the 3 to 4 month, those are all done by professional doctors. Next, I want to talk about services, and depending on where you live. Well, I think most places in Japan offer this, but they do have people who will come to your house and help you out right after you've had the baby. If you need help with cleaning your home or cooking or just taking care of the baby, someone will come and do that for you, and it's for like a really small fee. It's like really cheap. I think it's like 20,000 yen or less, like $20 or less. Personally, I didn't opt for it just because I didn't want the stress of trying to communicate with someone in Japanese while my husband wasn't home. Even though I can if I have to, I just didn't feel like talking to anyone. Yeah, at least not anyone that I didn't know. I just didn't want someone I didn't know in my house at the time, because I was already really stressed out. So I just wanted people who were close to me. So my husband's mother and his father came by, and they brought us a lot of food, like so much food. I think we just had a tiny fridge at the time, and we've had to buy a bigger fridge since having her. But they bought us so much food that it wouldn't fit inside of the fridge. Basically, it was well over a week's worth of food, like all the meals I needed, and that was really nice. They also offer services for mental health support for the mother, like if you need counseling, just someone to talk to, if you're experiencing postpartum depression or anxiety. They have people that will come to your home and check up on you as well. And if you don't say anything to the ward office at all, they get really worried. Like, if you don't want the services, you should tell them you don't want the services, because if you don't fill out the survey, they're gonna send someone to your house. Like, did you get our paper? Are you okay? Do you need any help? Like, 2 women just showed up at our house randomly. I'm like, oh, no, we're fine. We got the paper. We just forgot to, fill out the survey and send it back in. But yeah. So if you're interested in these services, either go to your ward office and you can get the information there, or if you go to the website of your ward office, it's usually listed there as well. And you can also find event information there. So they do hold events for young babies, anywhere from 0 to 1 year old. If you're interested in joining those events, usually they're free. Sometimes you have to register, and sometimes you just have to show up. So check the website for your ward office to get the event calendar, or you can also go to your local community center. They usually have it there. Also, you can go to a nearby daycare and just ask them, and they'll have a calendar that they'll gladly give you. And something I didn't know is that most of the events are held at the daycares, and it doesn't matter if your child is enrolled in daycare or not, they are still allowed to attend those events. So it's a really good idea just to get a list. And they range from things like playtime to like picture book reading time and stuff like that. So it's good, to start getting your baby socialized, used to meeting new people, but also it gets you out of the house. You don't want to sit at home alone all day especially like if your husband is still working. So you get a chance to get out, meet new moms, and it, other than, you know, traveling there, like if you take a bus or a train, it doesn't cost you anything. Let's turn you around, baby girl. There we go. There we go. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is where to buy baby goods in Japan. And there are various places you can go to. There are some big chains and smaller chains, but these are just like some of the bigger ones that just you can find just about anywhere. And the first one I want to mention is Akachan Honpo. And Akachan Honpo has with some maternity goods, but it's more focused around goods for the baby. So anything from like food to clothing to toys to strollers and car seats. You can find everything basically at Akachan Honpo. So it's a really good store. It's very reasonably priced. They often have sales, and you can sometimes get free things from there. Like when you're pregnant or when your baby is first born, they give out free samples. So that's a good place to try. Another one is called Nishimatsuya, and it's also known as the bunny store. I didn't notice, but apparently like a lot of the military moms, like on the American bases here, call it the bunny store. But Nishimatsuya, it also has a bigger selection of maternity clothing, a lot more stuff for mom. So like, you know, maternity bras, nursing bras, also the maternity underwear. She's eating my arm. Is it tasty? This is part of motherhood, like getting eaten. Yuck. Yeah, so Nishimatsuya has a lot of things. You can get bottles and formula there as well. They also have strollers and car seats. They have some baby clothing. I feel like Akachan Honpo has a bigger selection, but Nishimatsuya will have all of the basic stuff that you need. The next store I would recommend is Babies R Us. I didn't notice, but you can order stuff online. So even if there isn't one near you, you can have it shipped to you. And I think if you order over 5,000 or 6,000 yen, they will ship the items to your house for free, which is perfect. If you want to order diapers or, you know, clothing, toys and whatnot, then Babies R Us is pretty good. She's munching on my hand. All right, and last but not least, I recommend Amazon Family. You can set up subscriptions so that you'll receive like things like formula, diapers, and wipes every month, like on a regular basis, so you don't have to worry about it. Of course, you have to like go in and change the sizes of the diapers as your baby gets bigger, and it's relatively cheap. I think the cheapest place, from what I've heard from the other mothers, is Babies R Us, if you catch the diapers on sale. So if you're signed up to like their mailing list, they'll have a sale like once a month, and the diapers are really cheap there. But otherwise, if you don't want to deal with that and you just want it to come every month, then I would recommend using Amazon Family. Okay, so I think that's about it for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment below, and I will definitely get back to you. You can ask me questions about pregnancy or parenting, you know, what it's like to have a baby in Japan, and I'll help you out as best as I can. Also, please check out my website, theyogamalife.com. I have a lot of helpful articles there. And I also recommend you check out tinytotintokyo.com. It's a really great resource for new mothers living in Tokyo. It has really great information there as well. So I'll see you all next time. Bye.